All right, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to that midway point in the week. It's Wednesday. We made it this far. Another beautiful day for you out there. Some gorgeous sunshine today. Enjoy it as summer ticks away. Federal Reserve wrapping up their meeting, as you just heard in our national news. Looks like they're going to leave interest rates where they are. We'll see where that goes. But the economy is a big part of our start this morning because one of the things happening in Washington, of course, we're looking at the government shutdown process as the clock ticks away and Speaker McCarthy tries to get a deal among his own ranks. We'll come back to that. But we're going to begin with a newsmaker who was nice enough to make some time for us this morning. He's got a busy schedule in New Hampshire. He's one of the Republican presidential candidates, 2024 U.S. Senator Tim Scott, South Carolina Senator. Thanks for being back on Good Morning New Hampshire, the pulse of NH. Yes, I understand friends of ours at St. Anselm College Institute of Politics are looking forward to seeing you in a bit, I guess. Let's start with an economic plan. I mean, I think this economy, there's a lot of balls up in the air. I'm worried still about inflation. I just talked about the interest rate picture. We have a couple of strikes in terms of the United Automobile Workers, maybe a government shutdown. I just saw a post yesterday about our debt. Was it 33 trillion now? Yeah, the clock's ticking. You're going to talk economy and an economic plan, something we're not hearing enough with all the chatter and the divisiveness, but you're actually putting out a plan. Can you tell us, can you give some highlights of your economic plan, Senator? Senator, how do we close this impasse between the rest of us out here that sort of understand some of what you just said about the economy in Washington? What I'm saying is U.S. national debt, as you referenced, hitting $33 trillion dollars for the first time, according to the Treasury. And yet we're looking at what's happening in Congress. Speaker McCarthy has his hands full. He wanted the job. He went through a lot of votes to get it, but he does have his own rank and file to deal with. And some Republicans want to hold his feet to the fire and the Biden administration, even if it means a government shutdown, and go after deeper spending cuts and deal with the border. How do you reckon? How do we kind of balance all that? And part of this is President Zelensky, as you know, is going to meet tomorrow with the House Speaker, and the Biden administration, as part of the deal to keep the government going, wants another $24 billion in additional funding for the war in Ukraine. Would bring it up to 135 billion. How do we balance all this? Mhm. In terms of, do you think that if they're not deeper spending cuts or dealing with the border, even if it results in a government shutdown, is that something you think may be necessary to make those points sink in? U.S. Senator Tim Scott, good morning, New Hampshire, the Pulse of an Age Senator, Republican presidential candidate. You're going to be on the debate stage, I think, a week from tonight, correct? One of your spots, you say that you want to end. You think President Biden and Democrats in Washington are pushing for socialism and victimhood. Can you elaborate on your points there? Senator Scott, before I let you go, we have a question here texted in from a small business owner in New Hampshire. Wanted me to ask the senator, are you aware that credit card fees are skyrocketing? I think there's some effort to look at the cost on small business in terms of processing cost. I'm not sure. I think what he's talking about is if you use credit cards for transactions, maybe the prices are going up. I don't know if it's an indirect pass down on higher interest rates, but do you have any support or comments on that? Finally, I mentioned a week from tomorrow night, California, the next debate. RNC's thinned it down based on things like national polling, donor support, how many supporters, money raised, and you're in that next cut of what I think the major six now. Last one was 8. When you look at that debate stage, Senator Scott, and Donald Trump saying you will not be there once again for the next debate, yet he continues to lead the polls, if you believe the polls. And I don't know, Senator, if these polls are accurate or not that show Donald Trump, the former president, still the Republican frontrunner in places like New Hampshire, not by a little, a lot. Do you think Donald Trump, even not debating next week, do you think this is his primary in New Hampshire and his nomination to lose? Or do you think he very much does not have it wrapped up? And do you think this is an open thing that you and others can actually have a shot of winning here? Senator Tim Scott, U.S. Senator, South Carolina, Republican, 2024 presidential candidate, making the major cut next week in California. Senator, thanks for the time. Enjoy your time in the First of the Nation presidential primary state. Thank you. All right, going to take a quick break. We get back our own White House correspondent, John Decker, on deck next. Hey, Google, hey, Alexa, play the Pulse of a Nation. Reminder, Good Morning, New Hampshire, powered by GMI Asphalt and Paving, now paying up to $35 per hour for seasonal workers statewide. Call Christine or simply text PAVE to 78,000 now. Back with Decker next on the Pulse of an Age. Good morning, New Hampshire.